Week number 6, final 2 weeks of the regular season, as it's time for our weekly preview presented by Cornerstone Real Estate Consultants. And Jason, Bears come in winning record again. We were at that point at 1-0, lost a couple in a row. Now we're back up at 3-2. Went up to Mac Valley on Friday night and put together another really good performance, picked up the big win.
With everything that went down as far as getting that game into play to have the Bears have a football game, a fairly decent road trip as far as mileage. It's like they never missed a beat. But then again, we've kind of been road warriors this year, so road trips and bus trips haven't been – they're pretty common for the Bears. So they just showed up. They played football. They got on the bus. They're going to try and do it again this week.
Well, and it all started, again, with that defense. You had a dual-threat quarterback in Sternhagen that, can do a lot of really good things. We saw that a couple of times. That opening drive, they kind of moved the ball down the field on us, get down inside the red zone. We decide we're going to stiffen up just a little bit. We get the turnover on downs. From that point on, they were 3-and-out, turnover, long touchdown, 3-and-out, turnover. I mean, that defense, after figuring out just a little bit of an adjustment after those first 4 or 5 plays, really cranked it up the rest of the way.
To borrow a little bit of just a statement from our cameraman, Matt Chenander, in the podcast, when you drive it down to a team on the road, right? They drive it down, they're at home, they get it down, all of a sudden 1st and 10 at their own 18 on the first drive. Oh, here we go. We're rolling. Then they go bang, 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 and get nothing. And then the Bears take it right down in 5 plays, specifically the first play, 46 yards. Matt said it was kind of, for lack of a better word, demoralizing. To me, is if I'm driving and I'm in good shape and I don't get a score out of it, the other team takes it 87 yards in 5 plays or whatever it was. Was it 87, I think? Yeah, that's sort of something like a punch to the gut.
Yeah, and, the offense just followed suit, like you said. I mean, we got the stop. Yep. They drive down and score. We get another quick stop. Our offense drives. We get a big punt return. The offense punches it in. I mean, it just really started rolling from there. And I think a lot of that is front 7 defensively, front 5 offensively, the skill positions. Your
favorite thing happened last week, right, Stephen? We got a first Gavin Hirschman got his first touchdowns of the year as far as rushing the football. And
Trey Schutte got number 2 and 3.
Got number 2 and 3. First one was with Kelby. And 2 and 3 now with Gavin. So I know that's something he likes to point out.
I'm smiling under
here. Because really it is. I mean, the quarterback is going to get his name in the paper, but the guy in front of it's paving the way. But to see the Bears score 50 points, not a single passing touchdown, build a run game. That means those 5 guys, like you said up front, are really, really grinding it up and down the field.
Yeah. Well, and we're going to need everything to be clicking because we're heading into a stretch here, the last 2 games that, if everything works to our advantage, we could walk away with the district championship. But it's our 2 toughest opponents in the way of that district title in the line.
Yeah, and Durant may be the biggest anomaly for the Bear defense that they've had to face this year. Then again, there's some irony in that statement is that when we played Cascade, the number 1 rusher in Class 1A at that time was Jack Minster of Cascade. Right now through week 5, tied for number 1 rushing, Jack Minster of Cascade and Nolan DeLong of Durant. You're going to hear his name a lot. They're going to get the kid averages, 12 yards a carry?
Yeah, 12 yards a carry, 12.6, so 225 yards rushing per game.
Yeah, so 5 carries on an offensive set, and he probably has 6 points if he's doing it 5 times. But this kid, they need to stop him. So they're not going to throw the ball as much as other teams we face. But on the other hand, when they do, their quarterback's getting about 23 yards of completion. Yeah. So you can't just sit on stopping one thing or it's over the top and it could be a long night.
Yeah, and that's what you can do when you have a guy like that on the offense that, you just pound and pound and pound and everybody's running downhill. Next thing you know, I'm going to pull this one back, and you got a receiver that's wide open. So that secondary especially is going to be tested for this young Bears defense.
Got to get a pop on a kid off the line. I mean, maybe you saw a few times last week where the secondary maybe didn't get off the line. They let the receiver get off the line rather better than we should have. The kid gets down the field. I guarantee you that's not going to happen again. And you got to get a pop up front on perhaps get a couple licks on early in on Mr. DeLong to let him know you're there. And then maybe you can start building and just moving downhill. That's what you want. It's going to be a tough task on the road.
Well, in this Durant team, you look at what they've done offensively, and over 400 yards per game, 300 of that on the ground. But defensively, they've given up less than 200 yards per game, and they've got a couple of shutouts on the season. Dyersville Beckman scored 24 on them. That was a knockdown drag out, and Beckman had, almost twice as many plays as they did. So,
yeah, and those two teams, when you watch them on film, are fairly similar. You're really not going to wow you, split things out 4-5 wide a lot, and try to throw things around, with the oop-de-oop kind of varsity blues kind of style. They're not going to do things like that. They're going to keep it pretty traditional. Stop this guy first. If you can stop him, all right, then we'll switch it up and throw the football. And nobody has been able to stop Mr. DeLong all year.
Yeah, he's a special talent, and like you said, it's on the road, so once again, we get to load up on that bus. But, just the resiliency of these kids, no matter what's been thrown at them this year, it seems like they just respond. They come back out and say, okay, we'll just figure something out.
And hopefully with the win, the Bears can get a win on Friday. There might be one more thing that comes with that. They might actually get another home game with a victory on Friday, but one at a time, 1 week at a time. And if they do it, hopefully we'll get to see that field down there.
Yeah, we've seen it once this year,
Yeah.
so we might as well look for
Might as
number
well
2.
try again.
So, it's going to be a 7 o'clock start. We will have the pregame coverage for you at 6:30 with the Bearcast if you cannot make it. But please do anything you can to support these guys with all the hard work that they've been putting in all season. Big thank you to Cornerstone Real Estate Consultants sponsoring our weekly preview right here at westbranchfootball.com.